culture. Classic pop culture.
Hi everybody, this is Steve Ludwig, host of Steve Ludwig's Classic Pop Culture and the Beatles Hour with Steve Ludwig at planetludwig.com. Here's an interview we did with Scream Queen Debbie D on October 29th, 2013. It's from show number 13. To hear the entire show, check out the menu at planetludwig.com. And now, please enjoy the interview. And our next guest is the multifaceted actress, singer-songwriter, model. Her legions of fans know her as the ultimate scream queen and the ultimate fantasy model. It's a pleasure to be speaking with Ms. Debbie D. Debbie, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, it's a pleasure. We're so happy you could be with us. Now, in addition to your over 45 movies, I mean, you've been in music videos, TV shows, TV commercials. You're a busy person.
Yes, I do this full time. I don't know how I can keep going sometimes, but I think if I stopped, I would be very unhappy. So I just take a lot of vitamins, keep working out, eat right, and just keep scheduling. And I just think it's a wonderful life, Yeah,
I imagine with your modeling career, obviously being in shape is very important.
Yeah, you need, being an Italian woman, it's not easy. It's definitely not easy for me, so I have to always fight it. I don't eat, the bad foods, but it's all calories. So you have to, on the road it gets tough. It's easier now than it used to be with people being more health conscious.
Yes, everybody is more health conscious now. Yeah, that's true. I married an Italian woman, Debbie, so she feels your pain too. So now, I guess your fans know you as mostly a scream queen, but there's so much more to you, Debbie. I know you. I recently saw Clive Unger's Madam X. And you kind of played against the scream queen role. You played a store clerk. You've got that's got to be nice, a good feeling knowing you can kind of branch out a bit and do other types of roles.
Yeah, a lot of the scream queen stuff. I get murdered a lot, killed, and but I do play different roles. Like I'll be a lawyer or something in some of them, or a waitress. So I do play the role as I did in that movie as a clerk. But the difference with that one was he wanted the hair away from the face. He wanted me just, all pulled back. So that was different because I usually always have the hair in front of my face, or it's up, or it's doing something wild. And through that, actually, seeing that I had more moles on my face, an agency had suggested that I remove them, and since then I have, and I've been very happy. Because moles are growths, and, being Italian, too, I guess we get them, and being out in the sun and such. And I'm happy to say that now. I just wish I could go back and do the movie again. But there'll be more movies where I'll have my hair pulled back, and the moles will be no longer with me, which they aren't now, happy to say. So some people who are hesitant about it, like we see people with the moles on the face, like it's a painless thing. And it's a smoother appearance. And an agency in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where I'm from, had recommended that. So I would say go along with it because we're so used to seeing ourselves in the mirror that sometimes we don't notice that. And then when that movie was shown, Clive Unger's Madam X, I mean, the moles became bigger on the big screen.
You remember, what was it? Rick, help me out with Austin Powers, the movie when the one character had this mole and it got bigger and bigger and bigger.
As the show went on, so
probably to you it seems
about
to. It. And I apologize. I mispronounced Clive Unger's Madam X. I think I said Clive Unger. I'm sorry. Now,
you know what? I said it too at an interview one time, but we made a joke about it. So there's so many movies in your head. It's bound to happen. You just wish it to happen, of course, but. Obviously,
you're happy with with all the success you've had as a scream queen. Is it tough though? Like, let me say, I guess being a scream queen is quote unquote your bread and butter, but obviously you're talented enough to do all other types of roles. Is there a time when you say to yourself, I don't want to get too far away from the scream queen because that's what my fans expect, or are you okay both ways? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I've been thinking about that for quite a long time, and I think that the fans will follow if I move on to bigger A movies. But what I have to do is apply myself there because the phone rings for the B movies, and they know what to expect. And you would think it's all one industry, but there are different levels, as you're mentioning. And we're all making the movies, so it's just bigger budgets, maybe better food, better hotels, but, it's all really the same thing. We're all acting from a script. And I don't think it would disappoint. I think actually the fans would be happy to go to the big silver screen to see me.
Yeah, you have such a big fan base, Debbie. I have to agree with you 100%. I know they'll go with you. I was just wondering what, it's maybe like, I don't want to leave being a scream queen. It's kind of like your safety net. But no, you don't seem to be that type of actress. You're not afraid to really expand your boundaries.
The movies I've made and continue to make will always be with me. So I think movie making is movie making and different levels. Just keep making the movies. And it's what really matters. And making a move out to California seems like something in my future.
Yeah, that does seem to be, I guess, the more fertile ground. You started out as a singer, of course, and one of your best songs that I've heard is "I Want You in My Life," and I love the universal theme in the lyrics of "I Want You in My Life." It's, like the person can travel the world, experience all the material things in life, but the desire to have someone you care about care back, it's probably the strongest pull we can have. It's a wonderful song. I'd love to talk to you. Yeah, go ahead.
That was a song back in 1992, which started everything for me. And just a year ago, there was a resurgence of it, and the DJs were mixing it in with Lady Gaga and such. So the song lives again. So, like I said about the movies, you've made them. They're out there. They'll always be out there. And I think that song, which is, I had no idea until someone told me, the DJs are playing it again. Why don't you go on another tour with it? But I think it had its own time. So unless someone puts that together, I'm really an actress. The singing, like I sang for Disney. I did their cruise ship. Yes. And that was nice, but that also made me feel like that's not where I want to be completely. Like I'll record more songs in the studio, but the acting is where my heart lies.
Yes, sure. You do it so well, really. The song has such an infectious beat. Can we listen to it now, and then we'll get back to talking about it a bit more?
Fantastic. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, here is Debbie D with "I Want You in My Life." I Want You in My Life. Wow, like I said before we listened to it, a super infectious song, and I love the lyrics. Now, you said, Debbie, that you were, that was from 1992, and it's got the resurgence now, which is fantastic. What made you, you originally obviously loved singing and music. What drew you to that initially? Singing.
Well, singing. I could sing before I could even talk. So it was something that my mother used to put me in front of a little stereo, and I used to remain quiet and just listen and absorb. So I'm not sure if that's where the talent came from, or I just knew that I was going that way. But she knew how to make me quiet as a baby, and then I started singing before I could even do the talking. So I think that's why I thought that was what I was supposed to do my whole life. And when acting kept banging on the door, I just felt it was happening because I was in the entertainment business. But actually it was trying to tell me, turn around, turn around. Yes, you can sing, but this is what you need to do. And then I finally got it. And I realized, I'm happiest doing this. Because I also, before the record deal, did the traveled around and did the band circuit, the top 40 band circuit. And I grew tired of that. Like, I grew bored because of doing the same songs over and over, and I felt like I wasn't being creative enough. It wasn't original music. And I feel like that's where I need to create. I need to be, evolving. So, so the acting is what fulfills me completely.
What came first, the modeling or the acting? I know the singing started it all off for you, but were you a model first, then an actress, or?
I did the modeling here and there. I think throughout, it was always suggested to, do some catalog work here, do a little bit there. But I'm 5'2", so I was limited, and it seemed to go hand in hand because then you needed the picture for the album cover, and then they need to do pictures when you're an actress. So it goes along with it, but acting's first. I would say modeling and singing are a close second.
Before we go any further, I do want to let our listeners know about your websites and Twitter account, and then we'll get back and we'll mention them again at the end. But it's DebbieD.com. That's on the website, DebbieD.com, and the Twitter account is at DebbieD_DTVM, and that is for Destiny, the Vampire Mermaid. Very cool. So again, the Twitter is at DebbieD_DTVM, and your Facebook page is Facebook.com/DestinyTVM. How about that? How pretty good, Debbie?
That's good.
Social media is a very strong tool, isn't it? Especially nowadays with so much independent movies and things like that. You really we really do rely on that quite a bit, don't we?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, all of it's important. Yeah. So, because you never know who's going to be listening, who's looking out here, who's popping in. So I think I used to do a lot of the magazines when magazines were big, and people would say, "You show up in the oddest places. I never thought you'd be in this magazine." But I felt like, well, maybe a reader, that's reading that might be interested in something I'm doing. So I was really big with publicity back in the 90s when the magazines were really huge. Then the internet took over, and then it became easier, not as much office and paperwork. Yes. I mean, I felt bad for the magazine publishers, but a lot of them did go online. Some of them went under, some of them went online.
Yeah. I mentioned earlier Madam X, Clive Unger's Madam X. A mutual friend of ours, Solomon Shertock, was involved.
Yes.
How did you get the call for that movie? And I know Solomon, he was actually on a show with me last week, a TV show, Evan Ginsberg's Legends TV, and he was raving about you, about your range as an actress, and how does
He's so sweet. I mean, I met
really any
Solomon
movie. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we met at the Chiller Convention in Jersey. I'm pretty sure, but I'm not positive. And he's great for just a great person, just a terrific guy, good actor, and he just gets people together. Like, oh, you need this person? Oh, well, try them out. And so that's how that came about. So it's all in this business. It's word of mouth. I mean, I think in every business, but a lot of the agencies do have things wrapped up, and it's more contractual. You know, as the higher up you get, the more money that's involved. There's more lawyers, but this level's fun because you still get the people, you still get the public, the same people that are seeing, like I said, the big screen, they're still seeing this kind, and a lot of them like it better because it's not so high pressure. And they get to meet the people at the conventions that are doing these movies.
Solomon Shertock, a mutual friend of ours, Debbie.
Yes.
Wonderful guy. I did a TV show with him last week. He raved about your range as an actress. How did you meet Solomon?
I'm pretty sure I met Solomon at the Chiller Theater Convention in Jersey. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And he's a great guy. He's a great actor, great person, just an all around. And his memory and his mind, he just never forgets anything. And that's important. That's very
yes.
important. And he seems to. I think he got me together for a few different auditions. And that's the way it works in this business. In every business, actually, you need to have. The word of mouth and people, that she'd be good for this or he'd be good for that. But it's a nice friendly level because the people are able to, associate with the actors themselves by coming to these conventions. So it's more of a personable approach.
Yeah. I mean, you must have met fellow actors and actresses at all the conventions you do. Who's one or two that even you, Debbie D, said, wow, I met so-and-so? Is there someone or a couple of people that stand out and you were really thrilled to meet that, you admired? Or how's that for putting you on the spot? I don't know. I've never been a starstruck type of person because I know it's just a position. Mm-hmm. But I think as a child, I always, there had to be somebody. But I know Barbara Eden was very nice. I met her before, but then when I finally met her at another show, we were hanging out more where it was, not as many people. Mm-hmm. And she was sweeter than I thought. And I remember the I.G. McGenie show, so. Yeah, join the club.
Yeah. So she was nice.
How about with your so many roles you've played in the movies you've been in, who are one or two actors or actresses that you really, really enjoy working with? I know there are more than two, I'm sure, but are there one or two that you can think of that...
you know what? I don't think I have any favorites because every movie
I'm putting you on the spot. That's so unfair of me. I'm sorry, Debbie. That was very unfair of me.
No, that's fine because every, question should have an answer. And if I had more time to think about that, but I'm just seeing so many faces right now, I can't narrow it down.
Maybe some questions shouldn't be asked either, and that's my fault. I apologize.
I actually like that because it gets the brain going. I don't think there is a question that I won't answer. I might not be able to answer it right then, but if someone asks it, that means they want to know. And being you're in the entertainment business, you're an open book, and you should be able to answer the question. That's what you sort of give up your privacy in a way, but to me, nothing's private. It should all be shared because through the experiences that we have, we should share them with others because it's all learning and it's all about helping one another.
You're going to sit up at 3 a.m. and say, "Oh, I just thought of something." You just mentioned lack of privacy, or not that it's a negative thing necessarily, but was that tough getting used to? I'm sure it's very, very flattering to be recognized too, but there is a little bit of a downside to it, I would imagine.
I dress really down. I'm so different than I am at my appearances that in Philadelphia I'm left totally alone because I was born here, so it's like, it's just how she does that. So in your own hometown, you're never really recognized completely, which I like. Mm-hmm. it's got a good and a bad side to it, I guess. And then in New York, I guess in New York, it's more of a recognition. But I'm not real. I'm still on a level where I'm okay. I can get away with people, and just dressing plain, and they don't. Some people might stare, and I like to ask them, well, ask me, because they'll stare too much. So I don't know, and I know I'm not dressed appropriately enough for them to stare, but I guess they're thinking maybe it's her, maybe it's not her. But.
Right. Where have I seen her? Yeah, absolutely. And my goodness, you've been seen by so many people. May I mention some of the titles of your movies, and maybe you can give me a 1 or 2 line synopsis of them? I mean, you have such a resume on IMDb. Just some of the titles that kind of stuck out.
Okay.
Are you okay with that? May I ask you a couple of? Okay. Well, first of all, I know both of these are in post-production. How about your newest ones, The Hollywood Warrioress? I love that title.
Yeah, that actually is done by my good friend Debbie Dutch. She wrote and directed that, and I have a character in it called Morgana. So it's I guess it's going to be out sometime, and there's going to be 2 festivals for it, or 2 premieres. I'm sorry. I believe it's Chicago and New Orleans. So it should be ready in about 6 months.
Is it more horror or sci-fi or adventure?
Oh my! What movie would that be classified under?
We'll see in 6 months.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And how about Jebediah's Axe? That's also one of your new ones.
Yeah, of course, that was horror.
Yes, I may have been able to surmise that.
That was good. Good people on that set. All egos aside, everyone was helping one another, whether it was fetching something or being there at the right time with a line. I mean, I can't say enough good about that movie. That's premiering in Texas, where I shot it, October soon, maybe the 28th. I don't have that premiere in front of me, but I know if you go to that website that you will find it for that movie.
Perfect Halloween release or close to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned egos. Is that a big problem on the set, do you find, without mentioning names, of course, or are most people pretty cool, to work with?
Most people are, but, sometimes there's just, they just want you to know who they are kind of thing. But I think they come off their high horse after a while. I think they do that to gain respect. And then, because, hey, we're all human. We're all in this together. There's no sense of wanting something bigger or better. We're all the same. I think we're all equal no matter what we do.
Yeah. Oh, very well put. A story about Ian. How about that one?
Yeah, that I was in the television commercial within the movie. So I played a Brooklyn wife. That was it was pretty funny, pretty comical.
Yeah, but I mean, this is talk about your range. You do it all different types of acting, which is a credit to you. All right, now some fascinating titles. Cannibal Hillbillies.
I can't recall that one. I know that I worked with Trauma on a few of their films.
There you, that's probably one of theirs.
Yeah, because I didn't get someone asked me about the titles, and I've not gotten my copies yet from them. And I know they were titled something different, so I... Oh,
I see. Does that happen often, by the way? It's a working title, and then it's released, and you say, wait a second, that's not what we called it.
Not as much. No, not too bad with me. I haven't experienced it too much.
Now, did you find horror movies, or did they find you? I guess with the modeling, they came to you. How did that work?
Well, like I said, singing was always, I thought that was forever, always number one. And it was through the singing that I did modeling on the side, and I was in a photography magazine, and a company by the name of Falcon Videos saw me in this magazine. Why they thought I was an actor, I have no idea, or thought I could act, but they contacted me and they said, would you like to be in a horror movie? And I'm thinking, okay. And back then I didn't even think that, why would they contacted me? I just thought, I guess they're thinking of me for the role. And it was that, what I spoke of earlier about knocking on the door so many times, you need to act, and me just looking back and say, okay, well, this was one of them, but it became clear later on that was the whole thing that pulled me in, was Falcon Video and Burglar from Hell and Jacker. And then later Tales to the End with those movies. And that through the modeling, that was just, modeling in a magazine, they tell me, and that pulled me into the acting. Now, I was never a horror buff or watched a lot of movies. Like I said, the singing always was the big thing, the big album collection and singing the songs and knowing all the artists. So I was a later start, with the movies. So I think that's why I don't know a whole lot of actors. I'm acting myself, but I'm still have a lot to learn because I've never, like I said, was a big movie buff or was into horror or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a bit of irony, right? I mean, here you are, the ultimate scream queen, and you wouldn't really call yourself a big horror fan growing up, or even. That's very cool irony.
Yeah, it was just about the music for me. So, whatever movies were at the time, wherever it was on TV, I was never really a big movie watcher.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it funny how people like me assume because you're an actor, you know every actor that's ever lived?
And believe me, I know the least.
Oh, well, I don't know about that. You've been in enough films that you must know quite a few, many actors and actresses.
Well, as far as the people I work with, but I mean, you think the history of acting and the roles, and that they started in the 20s and the 40s. I mean, no, I'm not real versed. As I pick things up as I go along, but you'd be surprised at how much I don't know in the business. But as far as acting and how to portray an actor, that's me. I think it's wonderful to be able to portray something, tell a story. People listen, they're watching, they're getting enjoyment out of this, and you are that person at that time because that's what you're portraying. That's what an actor needs to do. Mm-hmm. And I just, it's fun. It's like playing every day.
Yes, yeah, sure, and something you obviously love. So that's great. Okay, here comes another unfair question.
Okay, I'll try to unfairly answer. No.
You'll sit up at 4 a.m. for this one. What's one of the most demanding scenes? I mean, being in horror films, can you remember a scene that you had to do and you got done with it and said, whoa, maybe because of the physicality of it, or is there anything that stands out?
I will be doing that soon. So there's probably a past one, but I try not to judge anybody on what they believe in because I think you have to find that within your own heart and your own mind, and everyone sees it in a different way. But for me, I believe in God. And I have to say that I'm an atheist and not believe in him and say bad things about him in a movie that I'm going to be doing in the future in about 2 weeks. So that, to me, I'm having a little trouble with that because people might interpret it wrong, because a lot of people cannot disconnect the actor, from the role.
Yes,
I didn't know that. I didn't know that till recently. I said, well, I hope they're not going to have a hard time with it, though, that atheist bitch or whatever, because they say good and bad things, which is fine because everybody's entitled to an opinion.
Yeah, that must be a problem, though. People that, when they meet you, they think of you as Debbie D, the actress, that's you on the screen, but that's not you. But I'm sure that happens.
Not everyone. But
yeah.
And they might misquote, oh, she said this in a magazine, and here it was a movie that I didn't even write. I didn't write that script. So, and I had asked if I could word that a little bit differently about calling it an identity, an entity, instead of God, but they don't want that. So I'm going to do it. And I hope that I don't offend anyone or they feel that I'm that person. But, who knows? Maybe people who think actors that do horror movies are atheists and devil worshippers anyway.
Right. Yeah, occupational hazard, right? I suppose. Now, once again, everyone, we're speaking with the multi-talented, multifaceted Debbie D. And once again, the website is debbied.com. Her Debbie D's Twitter account is at Debbie D _DTV Vampire, MDTVM. And Facebook is facebook.com/DestinyTVM. Debbie, now you obviously perform and know your craft extremely well. What kind of advice do you have for up-and-comers or people just breaking into the business?
Follow your heart. Be honest about your talent. Other people are going to tell you about your talent, whether it needs work or you should try something else. Don't be offensive. Like your inner self will tell you what you're really supposed to be doing. So if you just feel like you want to do it and you feel like you have some talent, then go after it and see where it takes you. And by all means, do it.
That is excellent advice. It really is perfect. I mean, what more can you tell a person? Now, I'm thinking of all these impossible questions for you. I'm sorry, but if a person can't expect to hit it right away, obviously, when they're starting out. I mean, a year.
I feel I haven't made it yet. I definitely feel I've not made it yet.
Oh my goodness! That's you. But I mean, you have such a large fan base. But I mean, it's refreshing to hear your humility. But you have quite a fan base, Debbie.
I think you have to have patience and don't worry about all that. Just do it, and wherever you end up, appreciate it, and smell the roses, like I always say, along the way, and keep at it, because we never know the timing of things. It could take a while, but if you keep working at it, and sometimes it's just time that gets you there too. You need that time to keep building and people getting to know you. So time is not against you. So you just got to, if that's what you want to do, you just got to keep working at it. And actually time is what you're gaining towards where you're going. So you are, it's not like when, you already are on your way. But you're working on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely makes sense. Absolutely. Do you, can you even remember the way you felt after you did your first movie? Was that probably the most exciting in your professional career, your movie career, that first one?
No, because like I said, I wasn't sure. I just thought it was another thing I was doing, because sometimes I would model, but mainly I was singing, so I would act. So I just thought, I can't wait to see it. So I had no idea. I think when I finally realized I'm an actor, I'm supposed to do this, then I get excited. I get very excited about each movie and want to put my all into it.
On your website, of course, your modeling career is huge as well, and you do custom model shoots.
Modeling, acting as well. Like you can send a script if you want to. It's called custom videos. If you want a custom video that you have a script and you want me to act it out or have other actors, I could do that. Of course, you have to pay for it. That's what it's about.
You better believe they have to pay for it. Yes, sure.
It's not too bad. Not too bad. I'm real reasonable. And photos too. Some people want to see me in a certain outfit, so I'll do custom photos.
That's great. And we can just go to debbied.com if they're interested in that as well.
Right.
Right. That's great. Well, Debbie, I mean, I can't believe we've been speaking for over a half hour. And
my. Really?
It's really been a pleasure. Is there something else, any kind of upcoming event that you'd like to share with our listeners, or just go to debbied.com and that'll keep them on top of everything?
I'm trying to think. I guess I'll just have to come back on the show again and when I remember more.
I would love Debbie D Part 2 if that's fine with you. Boy, I would love that.
Yeah, I guess I'll leave it at that.
Okay, we'll talk again sometime.